and I can see my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We are live and direct to you this evening. This is the match review. So what was a very frustrating, disappointing, whatever you want to call it, afternoon yesterday afternoon, of course, suffering our first defeat of the season, losing 3-2 to Blackpool in what I can only say in shambolic circumstances. A big reality check in this one, and I think it's safe to say we've come back down to earth with a bang already. And yeah, so look, make sure you get your comments in throughout tonight's show and let me know your thoughts. And if you want to come and have your say a little bit later on, we'll be putting the link in later on if you want to come on. And yeah, whatever you've got on your mind, come and say it live on air. But yeah, I mean, we're going to get into it all. We're going to get into it all, of course, very, very soon. And as far as I'm concerned, guys, and I will come to the comments in a minute. I just need a little bit of an introduction, kind of get things off my kind of chest section. Look, there's going to be brutal honesty, as you always have, as have always been on this channel, you know what I mean? And if you don't like it, then you know what to do. The cross is in the corner there. Don't stay if you don't like brutal honesty. And if you're one of those out there that just make constant excuses, for, you know, just to keep papering over the cracks every single time, just excuse after excuse. And look, I've seen so many Town fans making excuses on social media these past 24 hours about what we saw yesterday. But then again, these are the same fans, of course, who will clap the team off if we get thrashed or we drop points against a team that we should be winning. So I suppose you can't really take them too seriously. It's all these excuses, but it's hard against 10 men. Oh, shall we get the tissues out for the players and the manager because we're down to 10, we're playing 10 men? Is that what we need to do? What are you wanting us to say to that? The reality is we had a man advantage for most of this game and we didn't make it count. It's as simple as that. So stop making excuses. And then another thing, but it's only the third game of the season. So what? We lost the game. Why can't we just sit here and say, look, we lost the game, we deserve to lose it. Okay, let's discuss what we can do to correct it then. What is, you know, what can we do better next time? Let's just discuss that instead of making excuse after excuse all the time. So yeah, I just can't. It just really gets on my nerves, guys. It really does. And why are we gonna sit here and just make excuses when the reality is we lost and we deserve to lose, and that's it. So yeah, look, we'll get into the comments anyway and see what you guys are saying before we get going into more stuff. It'd be good to get a lot of things off my chest this evening, I must admit, because yeah, it's just so deflating. Ian says, hello mate, apart from football side of things, hope you're okay. Yeah, I mean, look, football is more than a game, of course, and it does get to you. So it's been a pretty horrible week, and I can't say I'm feeling that great either, to be honest with you. But big up to yourself, and thank you for being here. It says make sure to smash the likes and subscribe here. Yeah, big up, thank you so much. But I don't even feel like saying that tonight, guys, either. I don't. But I appreciate that, Aiden. I just don't. I'm just fed up. Yeah, and guys, I think the votes, the lines close tonight at midnight. So if you do want to go and vote for me in the Football Content Awards, it would really mean a lot to me. So yes, big up, Aiden. Thank you so much for doing all that for me. I appreciate you so much. Donna's in the building. Donna's in the building. Hello, Donna. How are you doing? So look, evening to you, Charlie. This evening, Ryan. Hope you well after yesterday. Yeah, look, mate, just not really, but yeah, we move on to the next one, of course. But big up to you, Charlie. Hope you're well. That performance was absolutely shocking yesterday. Ian says, trying not to sweat them up. Yeah, look, I'm trying to keep it PG myself because I'm not a big swearer, especially on this on the channel. I tend to just kind of, but yeah, look, there probably will be bits of emotion in tonight, so apologies if there is a little bit, but I will try my best not to. But yeah, look, honestly, I feel the same. Joshua says, evening, Ryan, hope you're well. Yeah, look, Joshua, we move, we try and do our bit. We know, like I said, apart from yesterday, but yeah, big up to yourself. First round of the season incoming, yeah, absolutely, mate. I don't even think it's just a case of ranting. I just think it's just I've got so much to get off my chest this evening that maybe you can class it as a rant, but I just got a lot to say. You know what I mean? I've got a lot to say that needs to be said, and there'll be no excuses from my side. Let me tell you, because I'm not interested in excuses. Let's look at the game at face value instead of making excuses. George, I could tell that it would have been a bad performance by Huddersfield if you conceding 3 goals to Blackpool and losing 3-2 without even watching the highlights. Yeah, well, if you stick around, you'll get a bit of a flavour of what it was like. But yes, you already know it. Josh says, how is it hard to play against 10 men? You have a man advantage, and that was the player who scored 2 goals, and that's an advantage for you guys. Yeah, the thing is, it's because obviously once we're going to get into it, but obviously when a team does get a man sent off, obviously they tend to go into that low block, everyone behind the ball kind of scenario. But sorry, not interested in excuses, and we'll get into it in a moment. Michael says, evening, Ryan, hope you're okay. Yeah, just doing the best I can. I need a little stand for this phone, that I've got here, because it's just going to keep falling down otherwise. Yeah, so big up to you, Michael. And Josh is United just lost to Arsenal 1-0. We're in the same boat with both our teams losing, but apparently we put in a good performance. Yeah, look, all these. Let's look at the stats. Let's look at no. I'm not interested in stats. The only stat that counts, guys, and we're overstated by blooming rubbish nowadays, yeah? The only stat that matters, or the only thing that matters, is the score in the top left-hand corner. That's all that matters. Not all this stats rubbish that this new generation are all obsessed with. It's about the score. I'm not bothered about possession, I'm not bothered about XG, I'm not bothered about shots, how many shots, how many goals expected per game, all this rubbish. It's nonsense. So yeah, no. You can play as well as you want, but if you lose, then it doesn't really matter, does it? Wayne says, hi, Ryan, we need to bounce back straight away with 6 points now. Yeah, 2 home games on the bounce, and yeah, we do. But look, we're going to get into it now and get ready. And let me, like I said, get your thoughts in down below as well. I don't know why I'm putting that coming up again. But big up to you, Wayne. But yeah, let's get into it then. So look, obviously the team lineup. Let's have a look at the team lineup, shall we? That was obviously that we started with yesterday. So let's put the big screen on for you guys, or should I say me? Let's put the big screen on for me. So look, yeah, let's go through the team, then go through a few things. Obviously, that a few kind of things that obviously stand out to me in this lineup. Obviously, Owen Goodman returned back in goal. We played a back four, of course, of Rowan on the left, two centre-backs, Jack Watmore and Joe Lowe, and then Gooch on the right, two holding midfielders of Herbie Kane and obviously Ryan Ledson, the captain. The three more advanced midfielders on the left, we've got Ruskin in the number 10. We had Wiles, and then on the right we had Harness, and then up front we had Alfie May, and obviously substitutes. You can see Nichols, Sorensen, Wallace, Taylor, McGuane, Castledine, and Ashia. So yeah, look, obviously named, very much a changed starting line that obviously featured the return of Marcus Harness in there, which I didn't expect after his latest injury issues. So the likes of Dion Charles, who I'm not really bothered that he wasn't in the starting lineup, but he was missing completely from the squad altogether. Kasumu was missing, which I thought was absolutely staggering. I'm just confused, really. You need a Kasumu in your squad at least. You know what I mean? Why is he sat at home? What's that about? Obviously, Taylor dropped to the bench along with Sorensen in this match as well. Ashley on the bench, obviously after that impressive start to his first team career under Lee Grant. And yeah, so obviously it was an interesting lineup and one that I didn't really expect, if I'm being brutally honest. In obviously a few things that I expected, but not. I just can't get over the fact that he left Kasumu out. I just can't understand it. Just doesn't make any sense. But look, the first half, I actually thought we started the game really well, didn't we? You know what I mean? We got that early goal. See Ben Wiles scoring for us. And it was what we hoped for. You know what I mean? An early goal, quieten the crowd as well. That's what we did. And it was a settler for us to hopefully, push on for more goals. But unfortunately, it was the complete opposite. Now, obviously, for our goal, we obviously scored. It was a nice pass to Wiles on the edge of the area by Ruskin. And then obviously Wiles had a shot and it deflected in. So it was a bit of a scruffy goal, but it still went into the far corner and it was a goal. And it doesn't matter how they go in. It's about, just getting in the net. But look, from that moment on, it was just madness. We allowed Blackpool back into the game. Very tentative, sloppy in possession, giving the ball away, making mistake after mistake. I don't know what was going on. And, of course, when you do that, I don't care who you're playing, you get punished. And that's exactly what happened. Blackpool capitalised on this and obviously equalised. Absolutely shocking goal to concede here, by the way. What Watmore was doing in this scenario, I'll never know. Completely misreads the bounce of the ball, by the way. Goes over him. Ennis for Blackpool then ran onto it and was obviously away. Lowe then was just stood in the middle for some reason instead of coming over and trying to cover Watmore, who was obviously out of position. I found it weird how Watmore was so high up anyway. Why were we so high up? So Watmore was out of position when he made that error anyway. So yeah, unbelievable. Lowe then stood still like a lemon in the middle instead of coming across to, face up to Ennis. But no, we didn't do anything. We just allowed Ennis to keep going. Go on, Ennis, score. That's what we basically said. And then, like I say, he got his shots away and he went in. As easy as that. 1-1. And, yeah, just shocking defending all over the place. And then, like I said, now you're wanting a reaction because we've conceded. Now you want to see a reaction from the team. There was no reaction. There was absolutely nothing. seem to just kind of give up again. They seem to give up when heads were down a little bit, and then Blackpool go and score again, and the goals just keep getting worse and worse. You know, conceding from a throw-in. This came from a throw-in the goal. I'm sorry, you know, we failed to clear our lines properly. I don't know what Rowan was doing in that first half, but he was awful. Didn't do his job, didn't clear his lines properly. Then Blackpool pick up the loose ball through Evans, who then did a 1-2 with Fletcher on the edge of the penalty area, just like that, as easy as that. Don't worry, just let him pass around, it's fine. Kane labouring, nowhere near, lost his man, nowhere near trying to get on the end of the, you know, trying to stop the shot as well from Evans. And Evans just, it was a good goal from distance, but I just look at the defending from our point of view. What on earth? Well, that's schoolboy defending. It was awful. Kane, like I said, half asleep. You know, we didn't clear our lines from Round initially. I don't know what he was doing. Kane didn't track his runner. We had Alfie May who was back defending, but it looked like he was asleep. He was just stood static. So he was another one that lost his runner as well. If you're back there, you defend. If you're not going to defend, then don't be there in the first place. So we just allowed them to get the shot away, and again, Goodman for me had no chance, and yeah, we were 2-1 down, and then we just kept giving the incentive to Blackpool to keep coming at us, and then again, the third goal conceded. The third goal, so this was the third goal in 12 minutes, a complete capitulation from this team. Yeah, and guess what? Another mistake. Yes, another mistake. Failed to deal with the ball properly in the box. Watmore again, I'm not sure what he was doing. Ruskin was second best in the loose ball as well with Honeyman, who then was first to it, reacted quickest, poked it through to Ennis, who puts it, you know, gets in one-on-one with the keeper and scores. Just shocking, absolutely shocking from you know, that 12 minutes of madness. Yeah, just not acceptable. So we did then obviously pull a goal back. Ruskin obviously pulled the ball across the face of goal. Alfie May misses the ball, but it goes all the way through to Gooch, who smashed it home. It was a good strike. And then obviously 3-2. And then you're thinking to yourself, right, okay then, we're back in this match. Let's keep going. Let's keep creating chances and let's keep testing that keeper. But yeah, we know what happened. But look, then there was obviously a red card for Blackpool. Ennis, so we sent for a nasty tackle on Watmore, nowhere near the ball, and it was certainly a red card in my view. And then that's what they did really. They put 10 men behind the ball from that point. Obviously, they made a tweak, didn't they? Made a substitution, I think. Can't remember who for, but they made a tactical tweak. They got everybody behind the ball. And it was then up to us to try and break that down. Something that we haven't been able to do for a while, considering, can I just say. But even so, we're a new side this year. I wanted to see something different. I wanted to see us be able to break down a low block. But the early signs suggest we can't, like what we're going to go into in a moment. So, look, half-time, 3-2 down at the break. And, you know, I wanted to come out in that second half and try something new, you know, try and find a solution to breaking down this low block from Blackpool. And we spent half the time passing sideways and backwards with zero end product. And, oh my gosh, the constant overplaying of the ball and not actually shooting. Is it illegal to shoot or something? Can't we shoot at the goal? Can't we try and test the keeper? Why are we trying to walk it into the net? Why were we trying to do that yesterday? What's the purpose of that, please? We're not Barcelona. Let's just score some goals. Let's test the keeper. A keeper that everybody, I remember, in the preview show, everybody was saying he was a rubbish keeper. Well, why couldn't we test him? We didn't. We didn't test him at all in that second half. It was pathetic. Anyway, let's go to the comments. Sorry, guys, but I just have so much to say tonight, and it's just honestly, I'm not ignoring you guys in the chat. We'll go to the comments now. But yeah, I'm just fuming. Goodman was not very good. The rest of the team looked like they had a night on the beer. John says. Yeah, I mean, you're not right. You're not wrong there. I think Goodman was a little bit shaky throughout this match. I don't think he was at fault for any of the goals, but I believe that there was a bit of miscommunication throughout the match between him and the defenders at times, I saw. And yeah, it was concerning, to say the least. And yeah, the rest of the team just looked like they turned up and expected like they could just turn up and win. Well, I never thought I'd be saying that. I never thought I'd be saying that with this new look team, under a new manager. Things were changing. Things have changed this season. We know it has, but no. Looked like we turned up expecting to win without having to do much. And football doesn't work like that. It doesn't matter what the opponent's done in the opening 2 games. Max, a lot of players played poor yesterday. Watmore, Lowe, Ledson, Wiles, Kane, Harness, and May. First half performances cost the match. Second half, we had no plan B to play a 10-man Blackpool. Yeah, you've actually just put it. You just nailed it on the head, mate. Like wow, you've kind of saw the game. Yeah, there were far too many bad performances in this game. And I don't know what's happened. I don't know what happened since midweek. I really don't. The 12 minutes of madness in that first half cost us. Ultimately, cost us. And, when you go 1-0 up in a match, you've got to manage it. And when we go 1 up in a match, I want to see us go for a second. But we seem to just sit back after that first goal and allow them to back in the game. I mean, it's just madness. Just madness. Why didn't we try and keep going forward, get a second goal and do something? Instead of allowing them to get into the game, then their fans getting involved in the game, raising the noise. It's just crazy. It's absolute madness. And like you said, we didn't have any plan B to play 10-man Blackpool. And I'm afraid, people don't like the truth. I'm afraid whether we're 10 men or 11 men, when we're down at our place and teams are coming to our place, that's what we're going to have to contend with. Teams coming here and sitting deep and putting everyone behind the ball. What we're going to do, we need results if we want to get promoted. So what we're going to do, keep making the same excuses when we drop points against teams we should be winning because they've come to sit on a low block and play counter-attack football. No, it's down to us to break the team down. And we've got to find those solutions quick. And that's it. We've got to find a solution, whatever it is. Because I'm telling you now, we've got 2 home games on the bounce, and we're going to get, we'll get into those later down the line, but we've got 2 home games on the bounce. They're going to come here and they're going to frustrate. The blueprint is already there. The blueprint is already there on how to beat us or to get a point from us. Because we cannot handle playing against a low block. 11 men, 10 men, however many men we're playing against. Yeah? It doesn't matter. A low block's a low block. So, yeah. It's the light routine is a good player, but I hate when he's trying to take everyone on when in reality he can't. Yeah, I'm just too greedy, mate. Like, I like glimpses of Ruskin. I'm a big fan of his, but again, there's a lot of running around, trying to, I think on midweek he played very well. He was constantly on the move. In this game, he wasn't constantly on the move. You know what I mean? I saw a big difference. But the thing is for me with Ruskin is, yeah, he's a good player, but he's not consistent enough. He's not got enough end product in him. And that's what he needs to do more when you're on that wing. So, yeah, that's the way I see it. Yeah, the defence was just appalling, absolutely shocking, wasn't it? we won't achieve anything this season if that's the level of performance we put every week. Charlie says, yeah, no, mate, I agree. I think we've just kind of come crashing back down to earth, haven't we, and just kind of reality check. And that's the reason why I never got carried away. I was really close to getting carried away when we won the opening couple of games. I thought, yeah, things are looking so amazing. But I didn't want to do that. I've learned my lesson, because it can just change like that, and you can put in a performance like this, and ultimately you have to regroup again, and you have to go again. And but I agree, mate. You've got to be consistent in this league. It's a slog in this league, and we have to be consistent. Saturday, Tuesday, relentless. There's no room for passengers, because every team's in the same boat. Every team has to do the same as us. So let's just get on with it. We're in a season, and we need to just take one game at a time. So yeah, I agree. Just kind of deflating feeling, to be honest, at the moment. And so I don't understand why he kept going down the left hand side. You had Gucci in loads of space, just having the chance to switch it. Now let's stay on the left hand side. Yeah, just so predictable, wasn't it? Our play was so predictable. Slow, predictable, sideways, backwards football. That's what it was. Absolutely pathetic. Why are we not mixing it up a little bit? Blackpool's third goal was offside, 100%. Was it? I obviously revisited the game today on the highlights, and I don't think he was offside, unless I'm missing something. But I just saw it as just another weak goal to concede. At the end of the day, we were second to every ball. We were second to every ball in that first half when they were on top of us. We need to be winning our duels. We need to be on them. We lost the second ball when the ball came loose. So we've only got ourselves to blame, whether it was offside or not, if I'm honest. Jack says, yes, Ryan, shame about the result yesterday, but hope you're doing good. Yeah, like I said, doing as good as we can in these moments. Just get on with it, don't we? But yeah, not really great, but big up to yourself. Ace says, Michael, tough ball again. Yeah, I mean, it was the same rigid football that we've seen previously, I guess. So yeah, I play Nichols Tuesday night. Yeah, I'm not going to get pedantic about so is it all the goalkeeper's fault for why we lost then? Because at the end of the day, if we drop in the goalkeeper on Tuesday night, then we're dropping a lot of this squad, because a lot of this squad let us down yesterday afternoon. So I'm not for blaming the goalkeeper. I don't think the goalkeeper was at fault for any of the goals, if I'm being honest with you, Jack. Thought it was the Huddersfield. And to be honest with you, talk about Nichols. Nichols isn't any better. We saw what Nichols was like last season. You know what I mean? When he came back in, I wasn't convinced. And just because he had a good game midweek, everybody's all singing and dancing about him. No. He did what he had to do. He saved penalty. He saved some penalties in the game. When we hit penalties. But why is he the hero again? You know what I mean? Nichols came in and did a very solid job for us on Tuesday. On Wednesday night, so not Tuesday night. So you know what I mean? People are just getting over the top. Nichols, for me, is number one. He's long gone, unfortunately, whether people want to accept it or not. Charles says, thought we was the Huddersfield that everyone feared playing, but clearly not after yesterday. Yeah. We thought we'd really turned a corner, and even if we knew we were going to lose at some point, but we didn't expect to lose in this manner. Can I just say? We were going to lose at some point. Of course we were. But let's not make that as an excuse as to why we lost yesterday. Well, we were going to lose at some point anyway. No. That's not what this is about. This is about, I thought, I know it was early on, but I thought maybe, you know what, if we lose a game, at least we know we're going to see something in the game. We're going to give it everything, and we're going to play. The other team was just the better side. That's it. But in this game, it wasn't the case. We allowed Blackpool back into the game, played it into their hands, and then when they had a lead, like I said, they had a lead defend. Then and then they've obviously got man sent off, then they're going to sit behind the ball. So their game plan worked. Ours didn't. So, yeah, I agree. Matthew said he was at fault for the first goal. Who was at fault for the first goal? 23 likes the plan second half was to create space of shots through movement in the box, but nobody was moving. We've seen it a few times, haven't we, this season, to be fair, like the lack of movement at times, and because we've been winning matches, I'm not going to sit here and say we didn't play well in the matches we've won, but I'm just saying that I did recognise in moments in matches, last couple of matches, opening matches, the movement has been poor at times. And yeah, no, I agree. The movement was everybody was just stood still yesterday, especially for a lot of the game. Nobody taking responsibility. So I agree. The problem started at 1-0 when complacent on the ball led to the equaliser. Yeah, no, I agree, mate. Like we're just complacent. Where's this professionalism in this squad? Where's this what we've seen in the past couple of games? Where's that professionalism gone? 1-0 up, and then we become complacent on the ball, and that leads to errors or constant mistakes, and it just gets the crowd up, and then they go and score, and then that's it. The floodgates opened from that point. Lee Grant will find a solution, no question. 20 Light says, well, we need a solution and quick. Third goal wasn't offside. The still pictures showing well on. Yeah, I thought so. I didn't think he was offside at all, no. Yeah, so he was just weak defending yet again. Honeyman controlled the game. Legend should be doing that. Yeah, we allowed him to control the game in the middle of the park, though. That's the difference. We shouldn't be allowing him to, play of that caliber. Shouldn't be allowed to control the game. Ledson should have been doing that, but he had enough game, didn't he? For hours it looked offside. When you're watching in person, you think it's offside, but I haven't seen it on highlights, so it might look different. Yeah, no. Like I said, I've watched the game back today, obviously before I came on here, and yeah, it wasn't offside to me. First goal, Goodman slip. Yeah, fine, but you know what I mean. What about Watmore? The slip wouldn't have come if our defence would have been solid. So I'm sorry. People can sit there and blame Goodman, but I'm not going to do that. The first goal came from an error from Watmore originally, and then Lowe didn't bother to come across. So I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and blame the goalkeeper. Slips happen in games, but the reality is there were a lot of mistakes before it even got to that point. So let's have a look at that instead. So yeah, no, people are going to sit there and blame the goalkeeper, but at the end of the day, we've got defenders that are all over the place. And yeah, I'm not saying the goalkeeper did well in this game, but if we're going to sit here and blame the goalkeeper for everything, I'm sorry. No, there were 10 outfield players on that pitch, and they didn't do their jobs either. So should we have a look at those as well? Basically. Charles, I personally think the substitutions should have happened a lot earlier than what they did. Yeah, I agree. But look, big up to everyone that's contributed so far. Keep them coming. But let's have a look at the second half then from my point of view. Look, the way I saw it is that, yeah, we wanted to come out in that second half, and I thought, you know what, let's try and, get them under pressure early on, and let's try and find a solution to this low block. But we spent all the half passing sideways and backwards, and just constantly overplaying on the edge of our penalty area. And it's just like, on the edge of their penalty area, sorry. Not actually shooting when it opened up. You don't score if you don't shoot, that's the saying. So why are we trying to walk it in like Barcelona? I don't understand. He then takes off Ledson in the 60th minute, which I thought was, okay, Ledson wasn't the best. But I think Herbie Kane next to him was absolutely even worse. But yeah, he takes Ledson off. And I'm missing something. So, I don't understand that substitution. Kane was terrible, but for some reason, he seems to get automatic starters every week alongside Wiles, no matter how they play. It's like, okay, so let's just be consistent for the whole team instead of just choosing the same. You know what I mean? It just frustrates me. And I think if you look at that opening 20 minutes of that second half, the passing game wasn't working one bit. But not once did we try to mix it up a little bit and do something different. Why? Change the formation. Get May and Taylor up top. Do something different. Maybe put a centre-back up top. One of the big lads. Do something different. Get one of our centre-backs up and gamble. Obviously a couple more subs were made later. Finally, Kane went off. McGuane came on. Made his debut for his Wiles. Finally, Wiles came on, who was dreadful as well. Came on for Taylor. And then final substitution for his Ruskin and Gooch, who took off for Ashier and Sorensen. Below, it was a very strange second half in my eyes. I think absolutely no ideas against that low block. Who in that midfield? Can I just ask anybody out there that can actually answer this? Who in that midfield do we actually have that drives the team forward with the ball? Who does it? Because I'm looking at this midfield and I'm still seeing the same weaknesses in this midfield. Yes, we signed Ledson in that deeper role. He had an off game. He wasn't like him. You probably get one bad game like that a season. I think he'll be all right. I think he'll get back to his usual self in midweek, which we need him to. But what about everybody else? What about Kane? I've said it on this channel for the past few weeks now. Everybody's raving about Kane. I'm sitting there and thinking, I'm not seeing what you're seeing clearly. Kane's come in and done okay, but he's not done as good as what people have made out he has. I've seen a player that slows the game down a lot of the time. A player that doesn't get stuck in when required. And when he does get stuck in, he's always late. It's always a late challenge that he has to come in with. He's too slow off the ball and on it as well. So what is he seeing in him? And the fact of the matter is, look, I know Kasuma was part of the group last year that was, obviously, but I think Kasumu is a good player. I'm not saying he's amazing, but at least he drives the team forward. At least he shows that aggression. At least he does get, he might make a few late challenges, but at least he still makes some good tackles in there. But we've just left him completely out of the squad and he's at home. What's happening? And people are now saying, who is he going to go? Is he leaving Kasuma? I'm thinking to myself, how can we let him go? We've got a midfield that isn't dictating games. And especially yesterday, it wasn't dictating the game. So why are we going to let a midfielder go when we need some more options in that midfield? Yeah, McGuane came on yesterday. He looked all right, but is he going to drive you up the pitch? I don't think he is. He's a very much possession-based kind of midfielder. He'll keep the ball for you, but is he gonna drive the team forward? Is he gonna, play that through pass? I don't know. So it's a strange one with Kasulu. I mean, another thing in this match, why were we getting crosses into the box constantly when we have 5'7" strikers in the box? They were never going to win those balls. So why? So nobody's in that box who can win anything. We keep doing the same thing over and over again in this match. We need a different type of strike, is what I'm getting at here. With height, it's obvious, isn't it? It's obvious. We haven't addressed that. And he's going to keep playing one striker up front every week. Is that what we're going to do? Because I'm sorry, I'm not too sure about that. We need to, if you're playing May up top, May needs somebody to be with him. May needs somebody, a target, obviously a taller striker. And you could say the same with Taylor as well. And I don't think Taylor's done that great since I know I said he's looked sharper and fitter this season, but he hasn't done anything. Hasn't really done anything. So, I don't know. I really don't know, guys. Let's have a look. John says second half just wants someone to take a shot. Yeah, just shoot, just test the keeper. But what did we do? We didn't test the keeper at all in that second half. Not one shot on target in that second half. Absolutely pathetic, indeed. Paul says hope Saturday was just a one-off. Yeah. Well, let's see what the team's made of on Tuesday night, shall we? Because there's no time for feeling sorry for yourselves. You're back on that training ground and you're back in, and we need to react on Tuesday. There's no excuse, and we have to find a way. If they come and sit deep and play on the counter, we have to find a way to win instead of making the same excuse afterwards when we don't win the game. I don't get why Grant not using Kasumu. How is he using Kane or Wild over Kasumu? He says, yeah. I don't know. Talk about training a lot, don't they, managers? It's like, well, yeah, sure, can do well in training, but it's about a match day. How do they perform on the match day as well? Don't understand. I don't understand why Leadson was subbed, to be honest. Yeah, no, he wasn't playing the best, but at least, I mean, I think Kane was definitely the worst of the two in that. McGuane will be that player. I don't see McGuane being that player that drives the team forward. That's what I'm saying. So it's just my opinion. McGuane was absolutely awful yesterday. Whoever his agent is must be sat at home with a cup of tea in his hand feeling how lucky he is. Well, lads, I'm not going to judge McGuane too early. Obviously, he only just came on, and obviously it was his first minutes for us. So I'm not going to judge him too early, but I'm just saying the early impressions is I don't really see a player that's going to drive you forward. And yeah, because if you think about it, we've got a Ledson type of player who will sit there, but the other player needs to be able to drive forward, you know what I mean, and be that option going forward. Obviously, then come back when we're defending. But I mean, do you know what I mean? Like we need two different kind of deeper players there, and we've got two that play the same in Kane and Ledson at the moment. Paul says I've not seen Leo Castellon play yet. What's he playing like? I mean, he didn't really. I mean, he looks bright. I mean, certainly played better on Wednesday. Obviously, he came on this match. He didn't really do much, but yeah, still early days, and we need him to. So we do need him to start firing soon. So we'll see. But I'm not making my judgment on him just yet. He's playing all right. Dave says, what more went in too quick and missed ball, but where was the backup second half? It's pathetic, never tested their goalkeeper. Yeah, no, I agree, mate. And this phone keeps falling down, it keeps making it right. Here we are. But yeah, I agree. Watmore was terrible. No backup, Lowe stood there, like I said, for that goal conceded. Just don't understand. Second half, it was pathetic. We may as well not have come out in that second half if that's the way we were going to perform. Keep giving away stupid fouls for no reason as well. Yeah, we do. Like tucking people's shirts and stuff like that. What are you doing? Why are you just allowing them to have set pieces like that? You know what I mean? Be a bit more subtle if you're going to do that. If making it obvious. Just laziness. When you're tucking people's shirts and you miss time challenges and you're just not got your game head on. It's all. So yeah, I mean, like I said, so basically, for 60 minutes, we spent 60 minutes of the game passing it around on the flanks. Grant didn't change it up at any point, so I think he was naive for the first time. And yeah, it's a learning curve for everybody. This defeat, let me tell you, manager and players, because like I said, I've given Grant credit when he's done some good stuff, in the opening couple of games and what he's done over the summer transforming this squad. But I can't sit here and defend what I saw yesterday from him because he needs to do more. He just didn't change it one bit. And insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's what we did for 60 minutes. Just did the same thing over and over again. What was we expecting to happen? What was we hoping to do? What were we doing? It didn't make any sense. So yeah, very, very poor. But yeah, look, obviously full time, 3-2 to them. A very frustrating, disappointing afternoon. Was the first defeat of the season for us. And yeah, we just couldn't find a way in that second half to get past a Blackpool side with 10 men. Obviously, this was the game where we need to show some creativity to unlock a team that put everyone behind the ball. And we fell way, way short. Just didn't show enough. Probably didn't deserve an equaliser in the end, let's be honest. Let's not sugarcoat this. We didn't even deserve to get back in this game. So here we are. Sloppy mistakes at the back cost us in the first half. And still, we just kept doing the same thing in the second half. There were still errors in the second half, in terms of, when, it was clear to see. And there's plenty for Lee Grant now to work on in training, for sure. Not much time to work on the training ground, let's be honest, but he's going to have to do something over the next... I hope he had him in training today. I really do. We don't deserve a day off performing like that. So yeah, and like I said, losing games is one thing, but in this manner, I absolutely can't accept losing like this. And about anybody else out there, but I can't. The lack of composure, the poor decision making was clear to see throughout this match. It was the opposite to what we've seen in the past couple of games. And I just think really, Grant needs to realise maybe that Herbie Kane just isn't it. Like I said, he's slow on the ball, and he's also slow off it as well. What does he actually see in him? What does Kane actually offer us in that midfield, guys? What does he actually offer us? Can anybody tell me? Because I'm not really sure what he offers us. And like I said, he's left Kasumu out. So he was the only one that drives forward. He's aggressive. And he's quick. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. It was the first time for me that Grant got his in-game management wrong. As I've already said, in terms of the subs he made. Didn't quite understand the subs, the timing of them. I would have made some changes at half-time. Didn't agree with who he brought on. Well, especially for... Didn't particularly agree who he brought off and on. Who he brought off at times in this match. And the fact he just stuck to doing the same thing and didn't bother changing it when the passing was clearly not. The passing game clearly wasn't working. Look, I give credit where credit's due, but I also have to say when it's not so good too. And I'll be brutally honest and I won't give excuses. So I'm taking the game at face value. It wasn't good enough, nowhere near good enough. And it's okay who you're playing. If you perform like that, then you're getting beat. And if you're conceding 3 goals in a match, don't expect to win a match when you're conceding 3 goals. I'm sorry. Cannot make them amount of errors and make them silly mistakes and expect to win the game. So lots of lessons to be learned, players and management, and we move on to the next, because there's no time for feeling sorry for ourselves. I'm glad there's a game on Tuesday night. I really am, because the best thing for us is to get back out there and put them players need to put right what they produced on Saturday, first and foremost. They need to put it right on Tuesday and quick. So it's good that we've got a game on Tuesday night. So let's see a big reaction. Let's have a look at the comments. And the phone keeps falling down. It's just really annoying me now. Is if we're not careful, and Tuesday Doncaster will come and do us, to be honest. Yeah. Like I said, doesn't matter who we play against, Aiden. Player like that will get beat. I don't care for a home or away. We'll get beat if we play like that. Simple as that. Charles, if we was going to keep putting crosses into the box, 6'6" Joe Low in the box, yeah, just do something different. Everybody could see. I don't need coaching badges to see we needed to do something different, and he didn't. I'm not paid to make those decisions. The manager is on the sidelines, not me. He needed to do something different. He didn't. Therefore, that's on Grant, and these players need to take a hard look at themselves as well for what they produced, especially in that first half, making countless errors, especially at the back. Utter garbage. Paul says every time we play a team that hasn't won for a few games, then when they play us, we end up losing. Yeah, same old story, isn't it, mate? Just ridiculous. It makes it worse because it's Steve Bruce. Yeah, you could say that, but I'm just really annoyed, just in general. To be fair, about I don't think anything can make it worse than what we saw from these players on Tuesday. Not on Tuesday, yesterday. I don't think anything worse than seeing players make countless errors and basic errors at that. A says Ashley a good player. Don't get me wrong, and he's done well recently because I didn't want him to come on yesterday. My battery has gone, so let me just put the lights on. Bear with me. I'll have to put this light on. This ring light that I've got is absolutely atrocious. It loses battery so easily. Something wrong with it. But yeah, what we were saying here, yeah, sorry, I didn't want him to come on yesterday. So you're basically putting pressure on 18-year-old, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the fact that he did obviously produce what he did in the last couple of games, he's kind of pushed himself. He's pushed himself into that first team picture, hasn't he now? And obviously, yeah, I get what you're saying. Maybe in that situation, but we needed to do something, and we needed to change it. And we were. I know it is a lot of pressure on him, but I think basically he's at that age where he just wants to play football, I guess. So I don't really think I think putting big pressure on him is starting games every week. And obviously Grant didn't do that. He brought him on. So, not sure. But yeah, I know what you're saying to a degree. Look, Blackpool lost to Exeter 4-1, so we should have took advantage of their poor form. Yeah. I mean, if Exeter managed to put 4 past them, yes, I know Blackpool were away in that match, but I don't care. We lost this game. All 3 goals we conceded were from our own doing, not their good, fantastic play. Yes, the second goal was a good shot from distance, but we allowed him that shot on distance. It was still a good goal, but we allowed him that. So, yeah. Basically, we gifted them the win, and that's what we did. But look, we're going to get into some player ratings. These player ratings are not going to be very, very good either, as you can imagine, because, like I said, I'm not sugarcoating this one bit. Other people might want to, but I'm not. So, yes, let's get the player ratings. So, for me, Owen Goodman gets a 6. Couldn't really do anything about the early equaliser, obviously, despite getting a touch, as obviously Jolo deflected it at close range. Obviously, wasn't able to get to the second strike from Lee Evans as Blackpool went ahead, and he also couldn't keep out Nylens, who poked it past him after coming off his line. he had to come off his line because the defence was nowhere to be seen. So people are saying he come out of his goal. Well, yeah, he did. But he needed to come out of his goal because nobody was there to cover. You're not going to just stand static on your line, are you? That's not what you do. So he needs to come out and put a little bit of pressure on because the defence will just stood there watching. But let's just keep criticising Goodman, shall we? Anyways, moving swiftly on. Lyndon Gooch, I thought was brilliant. He was my man of the match. Probably only one of two players that can have their head held high going off that pitch. If we're being honest, so I think Gooch deserves a 7. Obviously, we're showing what he could do. Obviously, getting down that right early on in the match. I thought he scored the goal as well, which was a good goal. And yeah, he did his best. Obviously, tailed off a little bit, but he did more than most in this side. So yeah, for me, he gets a 7. Up next, Jack Watmore, who had an absolute shocker. I've already alluded to. He gets a 4. Like I said, misread the bounce on that high ball to let Ennis in first goal. Put us in a lot of trouble in that second half with a poor pass to Lowe. But then obviously did have a few blocks in there. But I think he was just constantly making errors all afternoon. So I have to give him a 4. He was atrocious. Lowe next up. I don't really think he was much better, really, was he? So for me, he gets a 4. Got booked in the match as well for a cynical tug on the shirt of the Blackpool man. And like I said, he was at fault for that first goal as well because he didn't come across, didn't try and do something to stop Ennis from going. He just stood there in the middle for some reason. Shocking. Rowan got a 6 from me. Looked off the pace in that disastrous first half spell as Blackpool went from 1-0 down to 3-1 up, but he wasn't alone in that, was he? Better after the break, though, in the second half. Because they're getting back impressively to stop a couple of Blackpool counter-attacks that would have obviously completely killed the game off. So, yeah, gets a 6. Ledson gets a 5. Did have a few nice balls that he played out to the wings, but on the whole, not at the level that we've seen in the previous couple of games that we've seen of him. So, very, very poor. Kane, another shocker of a performance. He gets a 4. Did some good work on the ball, but switched off defensively for the second Blackpool goal. Then just was poor all afternoon, really. Set-piece deliveries as well. We talked about the set-piece deliveries, how we need to be good at them this season and, use them to our advantage. He was awful on set-pieces. So I don't know why he keeps taking him. So, yeah, absolutely shocking. Herbie Kane, is he really the answer in that midfield? Nah, not for me. And that's not me having an agenda against him or whatever. I just don't think he's it. Just don't think he's good enough. And that's it. Marcus Harness was absolutely dreadful. Yes, he's just come back from injury, but I'm not making any excuses. Showed a bit of dynamism throughout, but no end product. Kept losing the ball. I think there were a few times as well, at least 1 or 2 times, where he was just stood in an offside position. Get back on side and stop being so blooming lazy. So Harness offered us very little down that right-hand side. So I'm sorry. He's got to be better. I will come to the comments shortly. Let's just finish these ratings off quickly. Ben Wiles, yeah, he was shocking as well. So he got the goal, which was a big bit of fortune in that, to be honest with you, because it was a deflection and it was a little bit of a scuff shot as well. So wasn't that great. And then, like I said, after he did that, didn't do anything all game, just hiding, as he usually does. And this is what I said about Wiles. I said it It's all good when it's all going rosy and nice and all, look, it's all, we're doing well in the game and he's contributing. He's looking a threat like he has done in the past few games. But when the going gets tough, when you need a so-called leader that's part of the leadership group to step up, where is he? Where actually is he? He's nowhere to be seen. So whenever he faces any trouble in the match, he goes out into hiding mode. He goes into being an absolute, not a very good player. Why is that? So that's what makes a good player. It's all well and good playing good when you having it all your own way. That's all fine. But what are you going to do if it doesn't go in your way? What are you going to do if it doesn't go your way? What are you going to do then? You can't just do nothing, because when you do nothing, you're ineffective in a game. So I'm sorry, Ben Wiles, absolutely atrocious. Ruskin up next, then he gets a 6. Again, had the right ideas for the kind of positions he should be getting into and around the box. Obviously, he set up Wiles as opener. Continued in that vein, but couldn't get the ball through a congested penalty area in the second half. Yeah, so he was trying things, but it just wasn't. Not many people were moving for him, to be fair. And we were just expecting to... We were playing football on the flanks and expecting small strikers that we've got in to head the ball for some reason. I don't know. I don't really understand. But yeah, he did his best at 6. Alfie May, yeah, he was underwhelming as well, wasn't he, really, in this one. I give him a 5. Silly shooting decision inside the centre circle when we had a 3v2 on the counter-attack. Obviously, good positioning as we pulled it back to 3-2 with block shot running for Gooch to power home. It was a very difficult game after Blackpool went down to 10 men, and obviously it started putting all of them behind the ball, and yeah, like I said, we became ineffective. Everybody did in that second half. But yeah, Castledine came on, substitutes now. Castledine came on. A few nice flicks and flicks here and there. Trying to stay on the move in a bid to draw Blackpool out of their tight shade, but to little reward. Obviously, he had a shot narrowly wide from 25 yards deep into injury time. I remember that as well. So for me, he gets a 6. Taylor, again, faced kind of the same difficulty that May had with space, an absolute premium around the Blackpool box. And because we weren't prepared to switch up a little bit and get some height up there alongside them, then we weren't going to get anything from them, were we? Because we weren't giving them a chance to. So yeah, but for me, he gets a 5, Taylor. McGuane came on for the final 18 minutes, on for his debut. Did look a little bit rusty, which is expected because he hasn't played much football. But yeah, I think he did all right. But so yeah, for me, give him a 5. And then the other players that came on, can't give them a rating, it's too late. Unused substitutes, Nichols and Wallace unused. So that's my player ratings. So very low scores. And yeah, very, very disappointing. So look at the comments. Yeah, did that one, didn't I? Michael says, same as last season, we need a tall target striker, someone similar to a former striker we had on loan a few seasons ago called Grant Holt. Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Just need some physicality, some height up there, don't we? But we haven't got it. Sorry for the lighting, guys, by the way. When this ring light goes off, the lighting in this room just completely goes down. I'm going to have to sort this. Looks like I'm going to have a look for another ring light because that ring light is useless. It just keeps dying on me within 40 minutes of being charged. Don't know why. So I do apologise for the light. Paul says, do you think Lee Grant might have to look into the transfer window again if we don't improve before the window closes? The honest answer is, Paul, is that for me, yeah, I still feel like we're short. I said it, I still feel like we're a couple short. I'd be looking to bring in a striker with height. someone physical. Who that may be, I don't know. But we need somebody up there that's going to, and I suppose then maybe just look at tweaking the formation a little bit so we can play two up front. You know what I mean? Because then you can play a tall striker with a May or a Taylor. Probably May. And let's see what happens then. Do you know what I mean? In the midfield, if you're not going to use Kasuma, if Kasuma's on his way out, then I think we need somebody in that deeper role, because like I said, Kane isn't it. And also on the wing, you could say that we need another option on the wing as well. We need at least one more option on the wing. So we're still a few short. So that's how I see it, Paul. I don't think it's about waiting. We need, we need to have a look and see what's available for us and what we can potentially bring in now. Because there's clear frailties in this side still. Now, okay, you've got a McGuane coming back into the equation. So, again, I can't judge McGuane in that deep position yet because I haven't seen enough of him. So, is McGuane the answer in that deeper role with a Ledson? Maybe. I don't know. We don't know, do we? But, so maybe we should hang fire with the deeper kind of midfield. Let's see how McGuane does now he's back fit again. Or he's fit. And then we need another winger. We need a winger and we need a striker. So we need two more players in as it stands, and let's see how the central midfield area does, is what I'm saying. Mike said we should have had Charles and Kasuma as subs, then options might have changed the game. Michael, I'm not so sure about Charles, because if you saw him midweek, I'm not really sure he could have done anything in this match either. Kasuma for sure. Kasuma should have been at least in the squad on the bench. I was gobsmacked he wasn't, if I'm being honest with you. So yeah. And another player that we haven't mentioned, by the way, as well. Who else missed out yesterday? Josh Feeney. Why was he excluded from the group? What's he done wrong? I thought he did a solid job on Wednesday night when he came in. So why was he out of the picture? Do you know what I mean? And because we've had howlers from our two centre-backs, isn't there a little opportunity now for Feeney to come in? Because I'm sorry, yes, it's one game, so we may have to give them centre-backs the benefit of the doubt, Watmore and Lowe. Watmore especially. Let's see how they do on Tuesday. But we can't have, if we see the same on Tuesday night, then there has to be questions asked then. Because Feeney should be in this squad, at least on the bench. So Feeney missing was a strange one as well, in my view. So yeah. Dace, little lad on the beach where are the donkeys today? Dad says they're playing Blackpool today. Yeah, that's one way to put it, Dave. Yeah. I can't really disagree with that. Yeah. But look, like I said, just to kind of conclude before we wrap up, like I said, we have to react big style on Tuesday night against Doncaster. And the only consolation is that we have got this game quickly. And we need it quickly. Like I said, these players need it quickly to put right what they decided to perform like yesterday and right on Tuesday night. You know what I mean? This is the chance to redeem themselves. And the problem is, as well, we may have to face that low block again on Tuesday night. So we're going to say the same excuses on Tuesday night after we drop points again away again. Like a lot of this fan base have been doing over the past 24 hours. It's hard to break down a low block. It's hard to play against 10 men. We're going to be saying that on Tuesday night as well. No. How about let's find solutions? Let's do something different in a match. And let's try and give ourselves the best chance to actually, break down a low block You're not going to break down a low block by doing the same slow, predictable rubbish every time. And I feel like Doncaster are going to do that on Tuesday. We're going to get into the game tomorrow night with a preview show. But I feel like they're going to come here and they come to our place and they're going to do exactly what Blackpool did when they went down to 10 men. And Doncaster are just going to play on the counter and use set pieces to their advantage as well, because they're good at set pieces, Doncaster. And like I said, teams will do it a lot to us. They'll do the low block a lot, so we need to find an answer and quick. And let's just see if this has been a learning curve over the weekend. Let's see what we see on Tuesday. But it needs to be a learning curve. And like I said, this wasn't about losing a match. This was about the way we lost this match. So. And the way we didn't decide to adapt to the situation we're in. We didn't try to change it up. Well, the manager didn't decide to change it up a little bit, which I've given him credit for in the previous couple of games before that. He didn't do it in this one. And I think, like I said, Grant was tactically naive for the first time. And, that's kind of it, really. That's kind of all I've got to say. So look at the comments again before we wrap up. Murray Wallace isn't getting much game time, and Feeney should be in squad as well. Yeah. I mean, I just think Feeney should be in that squad, of course. He's a young lad, he wants to play, and you know what I mean. He's got a big part to play, so it was a strange decision to just leave him out like that. To be honest with you. Let's see how McGuane performs. He's only played one. Yeah, no, I'm not judging McGuane at all. Like, obviously, I know he's only played you know what I mean. He's not played much at all, has he? He's only his first game. Only got 20 odd minutes, didn't he? Yesterday. So yeah, I'm prepared to see what he does. Maybe he's the answer. Has Grant got a plan B? Well, I don't really know. I mean, it didn't look like it yesterday, did it? Because, like I said, when it's not working, you're meant to just change it. Whether it be change the formation, just do something different instead of doing the same thing. And shoot more. Because, like I said, having no shots at all on target in that second half, I'm sorry. That is completely and utterly unacceptable. It is so poor. So let's hope we have a reaction. That's all we can hope for. But let me tell you, this is where the true character of this team shows. Tuesday night, put the things right, play well, get the 3 points, and come away happy. That's what we're going to do. So let's see what the character is like in this squad truly after a setback like this over the weekend. Because there was so many just things that we haven't seen yet, and it's gone from one kind of outlook of playing really well and winning to then playing really badly and losing. So it's been two opposite ends that we've seen. It's not like it was. I don't even think it was an okay performance. Overall, it was shocking. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go now, but we'll be back tomorrow for the preview show to the Doncaster game. I'll be joined by a Doncaster fan for the first 10 minutes of the show, and of course, then I will be looking into our perspective as well. So. Yeah, it's good to get an opposition fan on, and be good to get an opposition perspective properly. But look, thanks for watching, thanks for all tuning in, and thanks for all your contributions. Drop a like on your way out, and subscribe if you're new. And let's hope we see a reaction, a new week, and let's put it right on Tuesday. That's all we can do. but very, very underwhelming, poor performance over the weekend. But yes, have a good rest of the evening. I'll see you all tomorrow for the preview show. Take care. I'll see you all soon.